organization, to faith-based, to governmental entities, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Campfire, you name it, we've done programming for. So we need your support. So I'm going to ask the 8th grade choir to come forward, the show choir. And our trustees are very quickly and quietly, during their first selection, are going to take up an offering. We don't hold this program for an offering. We hold this program to celebrate Dr. King. But every cause, including the civil rights movement, needs the support of the people. And I'm asking you, if you have to give, I don't care whether it's 50 cents, I ask that you give it today as the ushers come and we take up the offering. If you want to write a check to us, we thank you for that. If you want to pledge throughout the year, we thank you for that. But we need you. We need you. If we did, we wouldn't ask. But we need you to continue operating for 30 more years. And like the children said from the Washington Intermediate School, do we want to live in harmony like brothers and sisters? It doesn't just happen, folks. We have to be proactive. So, I need you. I need your support for the Black Heritage Library and Multicultural Center. All ushers, Michael Lynn, also Truth, and Richard's already here.
Our first selection will be Lift Every Voice and Sing, sung by Anna Christner. The differences in the way people celebrate different holidays, but the fact that love and maybe the light of a candle can bring us together. So I hope you enjoy this. Our soloists are Maddie Sloman, Ben Ragland, Kendall Samet, and McKenna Coons. And you're lucky they're singing tonight and not me, so I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, Fusion. Let's give the Fusion one more hand. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get ready to hear from our guest speaker. And to introduce our guest speaker will be Richard Steiner. He is a Board of Trustee member for the Black Heritage Library and Multicultural Center. And he's also the Director of Secondary Education for Finley City Schools.
Students never cease to amaze me, and I'm amazed again tonight. One of these days, maybe we'll see some of these students performing on American Idol or The Voice. That'd be great. Andrea King has been an educator all her life. She presently is the principal of Washington Intermediate School here in Findlay. This is her 6th year in that capacity. Prior to coming to the Findlay City Schools, she worked in the Lima City Schools for 31 years. There, Andrea was a supervisor of the Lima Alternative School and the expulsion hearing officer for the district. No wonder the students at Washington behave themselves so. She's also held the position of supervisor of instruction, where she worked with principals to improve instruction in their buildings. During her last years in Lima, Mrs. King was the assistant principal at South Middle School. She says that the love of opening the eyes and minds of her students and working with them and their families to find success in life is her greatest reward. Andrea is originally from Chicago, where she is the oldest of 2 brothers and 1 sister. She contributes her love of learning, her love for the Lord Jesus Christ, and the reason that she is the woman she is today, to the strong family unity and support given by her father and mother, Andrew and Margaret Jones. Andrea knows that her faith in Jesus Christ as her Lord and Savior has been her source of strength and wisdom each and every day, and she gives Him all the praise and glory. She fervently believes and agrees with the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and I quote, "The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and critically. Intelligence plus character is the goal of true education," end quote. Andrea was involved in the civil rights movement in her early teen years. The high point of her involvement was being selected as a community representative in the 1963 March on Washington, a true testament of her courage, strength, and actions. Andrea graduated from Illinois State University with a Bachelor of Science degree in education, in elementary education. She soon received her master's degree from the Governor's State University in Park Forest South, Illinois. She later earned a master's degree in administration from Bowling Green State University. She holds an elementary principal's license and an assistant superintendent's license in the state of Ohio. Learning is something that Andrea believes she can never stop doing. She has continued to participate in professional development throughout her career to keep her knowledge of current and educational practices fresh. Andrea King has been an adjunct professor for the University of Northwestern Ohio, Lufkin University, and the University of Findlay. She's an avid reader and sports fan. Just ask her, and she'll share her enthusiasm for all the Chicago and Ohio State teams. Mrs. King is the mother of 2 boys, Aaron and George King III, and a devoted grandmother to 5 darling grandchildren who bring great joy into her life. She attends the Gardendale Church of God in Lima, where she serves as a Sunday school teacher, imagine that, and elder of the church. Andrea is a founding board member for the Christian television station WTLW in Lima, where she served in that capacity for many years. She belongs to the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, Sigma Mu Omega chapter of Lima, Ohio. It is with great pleasure that I give you, Miss Andrea King, a friend and colleague in education and love of children, to deliver the keynote message tonight.
They've already said everything that I want to say, because Dr. King is he's an idol for me, or a standard bearer for me, and has always been for quite a long time. And so it's with great opportunity that I've come tonight to share with you. But I first want to say thank you to the people who came and shared earlier tonight and kind of set the tone. It's an honor for me to be here, and I thank Nina and the Black Heritage Board for Multicultural Center and Board for just inviting me, to trusting me to even say a few words. And all right, students, don't say I can say only a few words. Okay, but seriously, to share with you briefly, just how Dr. King impacted me. But I thank you, Donnell students, and one of my former students who shared tonight. Thank you so much for giving. And I'm looking forward to hearing you, Derek. I'm looking forward to hearing you share some words. And I have to say thank you to my students. They make me very proud. Yes. Bringing that right tone and that voice. And every time I look at my students, I think about, Dr. King, if he hadn't made those sacrifices, I might not be the principal of a school such as Washington Intermediate. Because, see, in my dream, I had planned to be a teacher. I was going to be a teacher, and I thought my mission was to be a teacher of my own children, of my own likes, because I thought that's what God wanted me to be. But He had a different plan, and I didn't know what His plan was, but I am so blessed. So blessed to be a part of Findlay, Ohio, because if you told me 10 years ago that I would be here, I would say, you've got to be kidding. But I am so very proud to be a part of the community and to see the diversity and to see students that I love no matter what, because I love them because they are my children and they belong to awesome families that took the time to bring them in the morning to school early and took the time to bring them tonight. And I thank my parents because you've supported me in so many ways. And I thank you too for bringing and taking care of the children. But you know what? I thank you, Findlay, for being an environment and a culture and a city that opens your hearts and opens your minds and opens opportunities for students to grow. Because that is what, as Nina said, makes our country the place that it's going to be, because these are the leaders of tomorrow. Because you know what? There could be a Dr. King sitting amongst us in some way, in some fashion. And now I'm going to get to my speech. But seriously, I do thank you so much. As I was trying to think about what I wanted to share with you tonight, I wanted to share a little bit about why I'm the person that I am based on what I've learned and what I studied and what I read and what I thought on to make me the person that I am. And my parents really were the ones that guided that way and created an environment for me. And I brought something with me today that hangs in my office, and my students can tell you what it is. This hangs in my office. Right, students? Yeah. Okay. And I look to it, not so much to refer to them, but it's something for me. Because right here in this picture, I take great pride in telling you I was there. And I was a young teenager, and if I tell you how old I am, you don't know how old I am today. So I never tell them how old I was. Sometimes it slips out when I was in my teens. And I was going off to college at the age of 16, so now you know. But this reminds me of how one little part that I got to do. As Nina said, maybe you didn't get to do a sit-in or a march, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. But if you prayed or if you participated in some way to add a change to society, keep those reminders present in your life, because this is very important to me. And someone gave it to me because they knew how much it meant. So this hangs as a memory to me, as a reminder rather to me, of the cause that I stand for. And that is that I want you to be judged not for who you are and on the outside, but who you are on the inside, the character. I enjoy the opportunity to share Dr. King with students, and I don't share it because we share the last name. That was just something that happened. Or, as some students say to me, are you related to Dr. King? They always ask me that, and I have to tell them no. But it is with great pride that I tell them that this is a man that I want to challenge you to think like, be like, and want to strive to make an impact in life somewhere along the way. So I want to create a desire for you to know that you too can continue the dream that Dr. King had, and now we have to carry on. As we think about the life of Dr. King, we often don't think about his early childhood. We go right to the middle, maybe to a march or a sit-in. But when I get with my students, I want them to think about that, the fact that Dr. King was a young man himself, and that he was a student just like they are. And maybe, you're going to the school in your neighborhood or a school of your choice, But Dr. King didn't have that opportunity. He was a student that could not pick his friends to play with, much like you get to do every day. And also, I want him to think about the fact that when you go to the park, you get to go to a park just because it's the park in your city. But Dr. King didn't get that opportunity. Or if you want to go to the pool, he didn't get that opportunity just to go to the neighborhood pool like you can go today. I want you to think about the fact, because I don't want you ever to have to go through what he had to go through. And I want you to share that also, I can remember times when I was a young kid. I was raised in Chicago, Illinois, and I lived in what I call my community of UN, because it was very diversified. And I enjoyed growing up and learning all about different cultures. But then I would travel with my parents to the South. And my parents were from Athens and Atlanta, Georgia. And we would drive to the South, and I can remember not being able to stop and go to a restroom along the way because it just wasn't safe for us in times, you know, in certain places. And I can remember going and visiting with my aunt and uncle who were teachers in the South, but they would tell me that they couldn't teach in certain schools right near their home, that they had to go to certain schools that would accept them. And I can remember going with my cousins to school with them and noticing that their schools just weren't quite the same as the school that I attended in the North. And I can remember going to them, to the, we called it the 5 and 10 cent store. And that's what they called it. And when I was walking to the door, my cousin pulled me back because that wasn't the door that I could go in. I can remember that. I can remember the water fountain had a sign over it for whites only, for coloreds only.